Hey guys, welcome back. This is Storm and welcome to episode 185 of our single player Tiveden world. Well, this was rather surprising, coming across a large dripstone cave kind of feature here. This is one of the larger ones that I've seen in this update. You don't really get dripstone caves in this version of the game. It's in the next version with the world height changes. But it looks pretty good. It's pretty impressive, and I kind of just found this by mistake, really. It was just poking around different areas around this Goat Island area, mining up a whole lot of resources and lighting up caves, and then I came across this area and had recovered my items. You can see the kind of mobs that were building up down here, so it was pretty full on, but we managed to take it over and get our items back, which was good, and we came across this little find, so that's pretty cool. Not sure what I'll do with it. I feel like I should leave it rather than mine it up. There's a few resources here though, but I think with all the journey that we had to go through to conquer this area, I think we'll just leave it though. It's a little bit symbolic, I guess. Okay, so there's no villager in that building. There already is none in that other building up there. I just checked that one. So the last building to check is this one. And there is no villager. So that means the villagers that were freely roaming around out here have lost the battle against the goats. That was always a risk, and I did mention that in the last episode. But I do have a couple of villagers down here kept nice and safe, just in case that happened and we hadn't got the villager population under control before then. So we do have 2 in this building. There is a villager in that building, and we also have a villager stuck up the top of that church. So I'm going to use those guys to try and repopulate this island, and then try and get the balance right between villagers and goats. It's going to be a lose-lose battle, I think, in the end, but it'll be funny watching it play out, I think. So we're going to try and build the villager breeder directly beneath here, and then maybe have the new villagers come up through the water, and then just access the surface here and get on doing their thing. So that's the current plan. I'm going to grab some supplies and then get building. So I'm going to incorporate some of this tinted glass into the build. It's something that I haven't used in this world at all yet, and why not? Let's incorporate it into the villager breeder. We've got the basic outline for the breeder in place, or the main structure for it, so we could put some glass into action. I'm thinking of using glass on this part of the wall, so when the villagers are in here farming away, they'll also do the breeding in here, and then we'll have some beds right over here somewhere, and then that will lead into a vertical chute where our villagers will find their way up to the surface, and the surface is just 1 block above here, so they don't have to travel far, and that could be a good look. So what I'll probably do is I'll replace this section of the wall with some tinted glass so we can see through. It doesn't have to be tinted, it could be just normal glass, but hey, we've got a fancy new block, so might as well use it. Well, to me it looks like the population is booming on this island now, which is good to see. The goats aren't still very happy about it. They are trying to attack these villagers every now and then, but that's okay. We can fight it back with our villager breeder, and that keeps the population under control here. Now, at the moment, we do have more villagers breeding than we do being killed, so it is a bit imbalanced. So I am going to come up with a way to turn off the villager breeder, and I'm going to use redstone for that. So I think the easiest way to do that will be to use an observer, and what I'm thinking of doing is hooking this up to one of the beds, but we could do something like this, and then connect out some redstone beneath this. And I'm pretty sure I've got daylight. Yeah, I do. Okay, cool. We've got a daylight sensor. We can invert this if we need to get the signal to detect nighttime. I'm not sure where we'll put this, probably out here somewhere. I'll make it look good, and then we'll connect up the redstone down to our villager breeder. And for now, I've just got a piston to manually turn it on and off. So let's go around here, check this out. Villager breeder is all up and running. Haven't really done anything with the ceiling, because you can't really see it actually from in here, so I don't mind probably having that exposed. But yeah, this is all I need to do to turn it off, is to cover up this block so these two villagers don't think they can pathfind to those beds. So we just need to get the redstone going to these daylight sensor and the observer, and then connect that up to this piston. So all the redstone is now installed for turning this villager breeder on and off, and it is almost night time, so we might see it in action in a minute. So we have the observer directly underneath this bed, which also means that I can't sleep in this bed anymore. It's really reserved for villagers. If there's any villagers still alive that need a bed, a villager will be sleeping in it. So every time a villager will either sleep or get out of that bed, it's going to activate the observer. That's going to fire off this piston and push this block of redstone over to the left here. So when I'm looking over here, it's always going to try and push the block this way. Now we have a daylight sensor over here that's getting a constant set of redstone here, a signal. So when it's nighttime and this loses power, this is going to activate the observer and try and push the block to the right. Okay, we've just got a villager going to that bed. Anyone going to take the other bed? Here we go. This looks like a contender. Alrighty, so in the bed the villager goes. The block's been pushed over, so that's all good, and that's still on the left. Now, as I was saying, when this loses power, it's going to push the block to the right. Now, that does happen a couple of times during the night, but that's okay, because when this block is over here, the villagers won't breed. Even though this is the on position for the villager breeder, villagers won't breed during the middle of the night. The villagers that are down in the breeder are going to be fighting over their beds or trying to get to their beds, and they won't be able to breed. So it's really only reserved for the daytime, and that's where this mechanism should still work. So let's simulate getting up in the morning. So let's kick this village out of the bed. Sorry, buddy, I need the bed for a minute. We're going to sleep the night away here. And then I'm going to get out of bed, and then you notice that the villager that was in this other bed got out after me, and that seems to be a consistent behavior of the villagers. They'll always get out of bed after the player. I don't know, maybe they just like to sleep in for a little bit. And because of that, even though this gets a signal strength that pushes this block over to the right, because this villager gets out last, it pushes the block back to the left. So that's how we can always leave this turned off, because during the day, this is when, if there was no villagers around, we want the breeder to be on, and it's off at the moment. So when this block's over here, it will be in the on position. So that's how that works. Hopefully I explained that well enough, and that should all be working now. Now, in the last episode, I did mention there was a case where mobs could jump on the inside of this pen area, and there was a comment about leaving some extra honey blocks on the outside to prevent that. So, good idea. That's exactly what we've done here, and it doesn't look too bad. It kind of still fits this area, and that should prevent the mobs from getting in. This iron golem, though, sorry, buddy, you are going to be stuck. See if I can let you out. Come on, buddy, you got to work with me. That sound. It's pretty crazy, this honey. Alrighty, so you can just stare at them, but you can't come in. So if anyone does manage to get in here, I'll be very curious to see how they got in. Well, this village is excited for work, aren't you? So we have our goat island here built out a little bit more. I'll put in a couple extra houses, just mainly for beds. Got that house up there. I've also put in a little fishing shack down on this other little jetty area. Just thought it suited that area quite nicely. And I've also just got in this building here just to fill it out a little bit more. But I'm pretty happy with the overall look. You can see we've got some extra azalea trees as well, and the goats are being bred up. So the island's looking quite nice. I could expand the village out in this direction if I wanted to, but I'm thinking of leaving this a little bit clearer because I do want some lines of sight, and that is because I think it's about time we do a village raid. that didn't go nearly as bad as I was expecting it to. We got this villager that survived. I think we also have another farmer villager over here. Yep, there's another one there. So these guys are, well, I was going to say nice and safe, but let's face it, the goats can still take them out. And the purpose of really doing that that raid battle here was just to really see what would happen to the goats and to the villagers, to make sure that whatever I do to this island, that pretty much I can control the population of both. And it looks like the goats are fine. I mean, these guys in the middle, I don't think we had too many casualties there. I'll just breed up a couple. But we definitely got enough goats around the outside. Doesn't look like the other mobs really pay too many attention to these guys. So they're just out here doing their thing. And really the pillagers and the illager mobs are really trying to just get me, and that's okay. Didn't mind that. The iron golems were kind of in my favor for a little while there. I was using, in fact I don't have any more iron on me, I was using iron ingots to try and heal these guys in between rounds, and it kind of worked. But pretty much towards the end, all the iron golems just died all in pretty much the same round. That last round was quite difficult, and I think that's when most of the villagers also died in that last round. There was just too many mobs, too many vexes, and yeah, the villagers didn't really stand a chance, unfortunately. But the repopulation process is starting. We've already got, there we go, a couple of babies down there ready to come back up very shortly, and you can see the detection system for whether or not we need to start breeding up new villagers is certainly working. The light is on, so we've got breeding action going on, and that's all that matters. Now, if I was doing that again, I probably would try and use a shield, maybe even some of my crossbows in my battle box, which I don't have on me. I didn't really think I was going to be doing a villager raid in this episode, so I didn't really have good supplies with me. I just really used my sword and my bow. And it's not the best of things. I mean, I could certainly fly around more and try and avoid damage, but we pretty much came out okay. A couple of close calls, and that creeper blast, that really took me off guard. I'm not sure where that creeper came from, but yeah, it almost got me. And thankfully we didn't lose any of these items in these chests, so put everything back to where it should be. So now that's all over with, I think we'll leave the episode here. I'll do a bit of repairing of the damage around the trees and whatnot in between episodes here, and probably also work on the nether tunnel to this island. But I'll work on that in between episodes. But for now, that's it. Thanks for watching, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next one. Cheers.